welcome to you. Good morning. And my name is Onno. My role is to try to get to a very nice finish tomorrow at the end of the day and have some major insights, good dialogues, possibly some decisions, agreements, whatever we need. The objectives will come later. Well, thanks first of all to the city of Barcelona to be here. We had a very nice evening yesterday, so it's very promising for, let's say, the atmosphere and the quality of the whole event in Park Güell. Thank you very much. And thank you very much the people from, I have to read that out, Fundació RBA is a company of editors, and they decided to facilitate this event and gave the revenue for free to us. So let's give them a hand first. Thank you very much. Now, before we start with any content or whatsoever, there's an important thing. There's 3 emergency exits, which we should use in case of emergencies. There's one over there, the main entrance, and there's 2 here. There's one here on the bottom and one on the top floor. So whenever anything happens, please go there, take the stairs, and leave the elevators. Now, 3 weeks ago, we were planning to have this event, and I was invited to facilitate and help it a little bit to get it even better. And I was invited. Yes, it's a big event. We have about 20 to 40 people. It's okay. And 1 week later, it was about 80. And last Tuesday, it was 135. And Saturday morning, I received an email. We are now at about 200. What do you think? So we thought it was very nice of you all to come here. And before we go to whoever is here, it is important to use the hashtag City Protocol when you use Twitter. And let's all follow the Twitter account, the City Protocol Society. That's good, a good start, and we have 200 already right from the same moment. Now, I'd like to go to the second slide and look at who are here, because this is quite impressive. There's a couple of companies, a lot of companies that have subsidized this event. And I'd like to see who is from one of these companies. Could you please stand up? Just stand up. And let's all give them a hand. Thank you very much. Great that you're here. Very nice, very nice. So many people. And the next group of people that are here are the cities, and that's very important as well, of course. So it's a very nice spread over the globe. Look at this. Impressive what we all have here on Monday morning. Please stand up if you're from a city. I don't know why, but I grouped already a little bit together. Did you see that? Most of them are sitting here. And the next group will be the organizations that will have this top of mind. And here is Think Innovation and United Cities and Local Governments. Difficult to read. Please stand up if you're from one of these organizations. Obviously, not all are in yet. Some will come a little bit later tomorrow. That's okay. And the final is the academics, the universities, for all the knowledge and the things that they could offer to the City Protocol. Please stand up if you're from one of these universities. Thank you. Now, what we will do, we have some plenaries, we have some breakouts. We will be working, we will be listening. The first part of the agenda will be on just listening and a couple of stories. And the first speaker I'd like to introduce is Manel San Romà, and he's the Chief Information Officer of the City of Barcelona. Manel, could you please come?
Good morning, everyone. It's wonderful to be here with all of you. So many people from so many places in the world. Welcome on behalf of the City of Barcelona. I would like to show you a short video, which to me is very important because I participate in one of these groups of people that you'll see in this short video. I think it evokes the values that we want to bring to this workshop. I think that one image is worth 1,000 words. There are many images here. And I hope that you understand why I wanted to show this video to you. Please.
A casa sempre m'han dit que per aconseguir el que vulgui, el que jo vulgui, no cal ser ni alt ni baix, ni prim ni gros, ni guapo ni lleig. A mi sempre m'han dit que el que cal és tenir moltes ganes d'aconseguir-ho i trobar molts amics que també en tinguin de ganes. I els he trobat.
Well, you see, these human towers that you have seen are two centuries-old folkloric activity of our country that was recently recognized as the UNESCO World Heritage. These collective constructions are built by volunteers of all ages, all nationalities, no matter your social class, no matter where you come from, everyone is needed, everyone is important, everyone is welcome. The values are community, cooperation, collaboration. You cannot do it alone. These towers is impossible to do it alone, 2, 3, 4. You need many people to do these towers. The bigger the community, the better. And then the community establishes their own techniques that diminishes the risk. And then all this community is able to build a collective work. These are the very same values that we believe are needed for the city protocol. We all have been to many meetings where we hear talk cities about how smart they are, and companies, the extraordinary products they have, and politicians to say that you have to be smart. We go there and we see supposedly best experiences, extraordinary nice solutions, much talk and networking. There are hundreds of these meetings around the world during this year. Well, this is not yet another one of these meetings. We are not here to talk about how smart each of us are, how smart our cities are, how smart our companies are, how smart our universities are. We know that we are very smart, and that's why we are here. We are not here to explain to the others what we do or how we do it. Here we will not talk about our city or our company. Of course, we need the help of all of us to be here. We need the help of the companies. We need Cisco, GDF, our partners during these months of preparation. We need all the companies that have collaborated for this work for this event to take place. And it's okay if you talk about your city and your company during breaks and during the social events. But we are not here to talk about anyone, but to talk about us. To talk about what we have in common. We are not here to talk about what everyone does, but about how we can do it together. We are not here to talk about our organizations, but to talk about how we organize ourselves. And indeed, all of this is for the benefit of our cities, of our companies, of our universities, of our institutions, but together. Some time ago, some folks here in Barcelona thought that we should go from talking about the smart cities to building a shared vision of how cities should become smarter. And that to do so, it was not enough to do it separately, each of our cities or of our companies. You know, to go to a promised land, the land of smart cities, where there is a big future for cities, for companies, for organizations, we believe that it's much, much better to go in a big wagon train where every chariot aims at different final places, at different businesses, at different settlements, but together we can define the trail, we can define where we want to go together before then going each one separately to its business, to its life, and to face together risks and dangers. That's what the City Protocol is all about. So welcome to standards. Welcome to agreements. Welcome to working together. No city, no company, no institution can do it alone. Either we do it together or we fail. The City Protocol is not about capitals, it's not about rankings, it's not about competitions of smart cities. That's perfectly okay. But the City Protocol is about building together the future, the market, and the science of smart cities. Barcelona has no special place in it. We don't want to have any special place in it. We want to be in the wagon train, not the first chariot, not the second. We want to be there. And the only thing that we commit ourselves is to make it possible, to assemble the big wagon train that goes to the promised land of smart cities. The bigger the train, the better opportunities for all of our chariots to get to the promised land. Here, the columns, the cities, work together with those who want to sell us instruments for the trip, the companies. With those who are interested in studying the promised land and the trail that leads to it, the research centers. And with those who represent the many faces of the whole endeavor, the organizations. Every chariot wears its own interests, but the wagon train binds us together and gives us the real chance of achieving our goals. Therefore, it's about community, it's about collaboration, it's about consensus. During these 2 days, we are going to discuss whether all of this makes sense and how we do it together. We must define the community. We must feel we are a community, otherwise it doesn't make sense. We are going to discuss about the vision, the mission, and the values that the City Protocol should have. We must explore how we organize together to achieve all of this. We are going to hear proposals, but those proposals are requests for comments. If we recognize ourselves as a community, we, the community, are the ones who are going to decide what makes sense and what does not make sense. If you take a look at the agenda, it is constructed this way. There are plenary sessions where general proposals, requests for comments are going to be given, and then we will divide ourselves in 4 big groups to facilitate discussion. Every one of you has in your badge a number of the group. The groups have been divided here. When we divide in groups here, we'll stay group number 1. Group number 2 will go this way here in the same stage, and groups number 3 and number 4 will go upstairs. We have people of our staff to facilitate discussion, not to condition discussion. You are the ones who are going to say why this makes sense, if it makes any sense at all, what we should do in the future, and how we should organize ourselves. Right now, the city protocol looks like a good idea. It looks like a good idea to me. I have participated and I'm convinced, but maybe we are wrong. Now, this idea comes from a very reduced group of people. After these 2 days of work, we hope it will have become a project in the hands of a bigger community. Otherwise, it does not make sense. Now it's time to start. So let's go for it. And I thought that the best way to start was with some words of a very good friend of mine, who happened to be no less than one of the fathers of the internet. I asked him to be here. He could not be here. But since he is an unbelievable person were the ones who made possible the internet. And he's a very good friend. I sent him an email explaining in very few sentences what the city protocol is all about. And he sent us this video that I want you to hear. Vinton Cerf, the inventor of the IP protocol. The IP protocol is what gave us the inspiration for what we hope will be the city protocol. Hear the words of Vinton Cerf.
Hello, my name is Vin Cerf. I'm Google's chief internet evangelist. I really appreciate the opportunity to talk to you today about the city protocol. This is something that my good friend Manel Sanroma told me about recently, and it immediately evoked all kinds of interesting ideas like cities communicating back and forth with each other or within themselves, making the automated operation of the city more and more pleasant for the citizens and improving the efficiency of operation and all kinds of possibilities. Of course, I don't know exactly what all is going to emerge from the discussions that you have about this very interesting idea. But I can say that if your objective is to create a set of standards that will allow for digital communication among different parts of the city, within the city and between cities, that you will probably experience a very similar kind of situation as I did many years ago as the internet was being designed. We were concerned about trying to create a system that would allow an arbitrary collection of computers to communicate with each other through an arbitrary collection of packet switch networks. And in fact, we were very careful not to define in too much detail all of the applications that might be implemented on top of this basic platform. I think that much of the success of the internet is a consequence precisely of not being too specific about all the possible applications that the network might undertake. And in some ways, the fact that it was not designed to do anything in particular has made the internet adaptable to quite a wide range of applications over the 30 years or so that it's been in operation. In the case of the city protocol, I think what is important for you is to begin by creating a few scenarios that will give you an idea of the sorts of things that you might accomplish allowing this sort of online interaction to take place. By no means do I suggest that you should undertake a complete list of all applications. Just a few to give everyone a sense for the kinds of things that you might accomplish. The second thing that I would recommend is that you meet face-to-face and come to some conclusions about the way in which you will approach the problem. I would recommend thinking about pilots. These are short-term kinds of experiments that don't have long-term commitments associated with them, but they give you an opportunity to try an idea out, to find out whether it works or doesn't work, or what's wrong with it if it doesn't, or what's right about it if it turns out to be spectacularly useful. These pilots are a way of grounding the discussions in a kind of reality, so I strongly recommend that. I also urge you, as you meet either face-to-face or electronically, that you keep in mind that everyone is committed to this common goal, to create an environment where online city interaction is useful to both the operation of the city and to the citizens, and that everyone is well intended, because you will all ultimately get into debates, some of them perhaps even very heated, about the best way forward. And what is important is to recognize that the debate is not a disparagement of any person. Rather, it is a tussle over which ideas work better than others. And if everyone remembers that the objective is to create the best ideas, then many of these debates won't turn personal. I think it's also very important for you to document what you do. This doesn't have to be particularly formal. And in fact, if you go back to look at some of the early documentations for the ARPANET, which preceded the internet, and the internet documentation, these were called requests for comment, and they were very humble in their origins, and they were very informal. 30 years later, now 40 years later, the process by which they're created is rather a lot more formal than it used to be. But you're just beginning. I would recommend documenting things so you can remember the ideas that people have had, maybe the ones that you didn't get a chance to try out, just to keep a history of what's going on and to recall the nature of your discussions and the range of topics that you've managed to explore. In the end, this idea will bear fruit if everyone is willing to participate and to support the program. And I can hardly wait, frankly, to hear about the results of the first meeting coming in mid-July, at which I hope this little brief video will stimulate some thinking. And I'm, of course, looking forward to hearing from Manal Sanroma how the meetings go and what your plans look like going forward. Someday, I hope your ideas will not only bear fruit, but also turn out to be useful for cities all around the world. So good luck with the conversations that start in mid-July, and I look forward to hearing more as time goes on. Meanwhile, I'll see you on the net.
Well, there's nothing much to add. Just to say that this is Barcelona, but could have been Casablanca. I don't know if you remember the final words of the mythical film Casablanca. We hope that this will be the beginning of a beautiful friendship. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Manel, for the good introduction. What you see on the board is that we defined with a group of people a couple of objectives that we want to establish in these 2 days. And let's just read them out. To come to a public declaration of support to a city protocol, showing the personal commitment of participants. So it's not that we want to get to a formal agreement with all of us, but that we all individually can give an agreement to what needs to be done. And what needs to be done should be defined in a kind of a work program. And what we need to do is to identify a couple of common main themes that are important to work on together. The third one is to give you a clear view on what your personal action plan could be. That could be next steps for the next couple of days, but there might be some bigger chunks in there as well. So it's very nice to share with each other how we could proceed. We'd like to have a kind of a governance model, and we'll have some ideas prepared for that you could have been reading in the City Protocol document that was being sent to you. And the idea is at the end of the day that we have some kind of a commissionary board that will guide the process until the end of the year. So this is basically what we like to establish, and the agenda has been prepared to get there. Now, when we listen to Vincent Cerf and what he said is that he invites us to try some new ideas, to pilot and see what that brings. So this is doing things different in a different way, which requires some leadership. And there's a very nice leadership model that you might know, which is split up in 3 phases. 3 kinds of, let's say, archetypes of what a leader should have to make the difference. And the first one is that you should be some kind of a prophet. You should be able to envision for people the, let's say, promising future, to introduce new symbols, new ideas, like Vincent did. And we will see some examples of that today. And why is that important? It's important because it gives us the why. Why should we go? Why should we go on our way? This is about the why. So this morning especially, we will be very much focusing on why should we do all this. It's the prophet kind of thinking. The next leadership archetype would be the priest. And the priest is very close to his people. He's not a revolutionary guy. He wants to do things step by step, and he wants exactly to know what is going to happen. He's able to get these symbols from the prophet and anchors them in the habits of the people. So in our situation, he knows the city, he knows the requirements of the city, and he knows if we have a city protocol and a city protocol society, what would be in there. That's the priest role. And the third archetype, and this is about the what, and in the afternoon, a little bit tomorrow possibly, we will be working on what needs to be done. You're invited to bring in whatever you think is important there. The third archetype is the king or the emperor, depending on which country you live. And the king is always, let's say, the one who set the first step. He's the chef de mission on the road, and he will take the important decisions. And he is very much able to, let's say, explain the how. So we had the why, we had the what, and we had the how. And basically, this is the meta agenda for these 2 days. We start with explaining to each other why this all should be done. Then we go into what needs to be done, and we finalize in how. And you see a lot of things as a result in here is based on the how level. But before we get there, we have to explain to each other why are we doing this and what do we need. That's the agenda. I'd like to introduce the next speaker to you. The next speaker has been driving the city protocol document that has been defined so far, and he will explain a little bit more about it. It's Vincent Wyatt, sorry, that's two, it's Vicente Wyatt, let's say it this way. He's the lead architect of the city of Barcelona. Vicente, please come on stage.